How are you? Happy Saturday. Hello, Mike. What's going on, Drew? What's going on, Shane? A couple of minutes to say hello to you all and have a little bonus. And what a bonus of a day it is. It's beautiful outside today. Getting a lot done. Getting a lot done. Do you guys hear me all right? Let me know if you hear me. Because I was connected to the speaker over here for the show. For the baseball game I was just listening to. Just want to make sure it's not destroying my my microphone. Do you hear me? Hearing you well. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Then we can commence. Hello, Michael. What's going on, Carmen? Brilene, what's going on? Or Brilene? Then don't have one, Crystal. Just had to put that out there. Hello, Aubrey. What's going on? Be good. Be well. So, how's the weather by you guys? It's really just going to open it up to you all, and we'll just chill out and talk for a little bit, and that'll be the extent of it. What's going on in the world? Rainy by Drucifer. We have about like 4.5 days of straight up rain coming our way too. Rainy for Carmen. 54 in Michigan. Well, it's about 80 here in New York. But I don't know. You could feel like there are storms somewhere in the distance. You could feel it. Like there's a certain kind of familiar humidity that's being just pushed through. I just got a little blondie today. A Drew Estate Acid Cigars. Beautiful here in Oklahoma. T-Town, Mary Ellen. That sounds fantastic. I don't know, I would really like to know a beautiful day in Oklahoma. I'd love to know a beautiful day in Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas. I just got to say I've been there. And all my friends who are from there are just like, Frank, there's nothing here. It's like, okay. But I like to say I've been to those places where there's nothing going on. Because that actually sounds peaceful to me. I have a Pappy Van Winkle cigar I'm debating on lighting up. Well, I picked this one because it's a nice 20-minute smoke, if you're with friends at least. And this is my second one of the year, to be honest. I had a cigar with some family on Easter, but this is my second one of the year because I don't need them badly enough to go outside and freeze my ass off. Raining up here in Albany, New York area. Boy. Between innings at my son Little League game, they are the Yankees. Thanks for wearing the hat to support them. You're welcome. I played on the Yankees in minor leagues as well. So I think I was 9 or 10 years old. A very proud moment for me. And then when I moved up to Little League, to 12U, they abandoned all like the games, the major league names. That's a lot of fun for the major league names. What's up, Linda? Beer and Lime Lady says, that was them. That was the Little League spot. This morning 9 o'clock, we had a game for Aurora. So T-ball was at 9 o'clock this morning, so we had to be there around 8:40-ish or something to put the bases out, set up the tee. A lot of fun. Next week will be just as early because it's team pictures. So there you go. Team pictures. I can't wait to see this. I've had a lot of team pictures over the years. At least 16, because then there are team pictures for fall league and summer league and all the other stuff you do. But for the spring in-house, I've taken 16 team pictures. This one's going to be special. How long does T-ball go? It goes from from April until the end of May. How long does a game last? They do 3 innings. Both teams get to bat from the first player on the roster to the last. The last person to bat rounds the bases, and that's how it all ends. And then you do 3 innings, and it's about 45 minutes they usually last. We started at 9 o'clock today. We were walking back to the car by 9:50, but it's limited to an hour 15 minutes. So I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with that. It's very fun seeing her play ball. And I got a tee and I got a net over here, so we've been doing extra batting practice. I've asked her, do you want to do something? Yeah, let's do it. As long as she's enthusiastic about it, we'll keep doing it. And if she doesn't use the net, I will. So that's the way that I thought about it until I break it. But it's T-ball, so how'd she do? She went 3 for 3, but two good hits. She's starting to throw her. Try to keep your eyes down on the ball toward the tee, and then you throwing those hands down. But the real key is once you start getting a child to really put it together of bringing that back hip to the ball. So if you're a righty, your right hip, you want to be able to bring that back hip to the ball, wherever it's going. If that ball's on the outside corner and you're bringing it out to right field as a righty, the back hip that's the whole thing right there. Back hip. You just throw your hands down at it, power it with your hips, just turn on that back foot, and once they put that all together, it's a lot of fun. All of a sudden, you see this little kid just like lace a ball. You go, whoa! And they're even shocked. Pretty good. Today I got to put the ball on the tee for kids, so I was actually giving them some batting instruction for the first time. Other than that, I've just been hanging back and not really doing much. Just making sure everybody's on their marks. Everybody's on their marks, and everybody is getting up when they're supposed to. A lot of kicking in martial arts. A lot like kicking in martial arts, yes. My son got a triple in his varsity game. Fun stuff. That must be a trip. And I see these time-lapse videos on Instagram and YouTube all the time of parents who obviously are there for their kids for whatever sport, whatever kind of event that they do, from the time that they're 5 and they kept with it, and they, all of a sudden they're pitching in a big game, or they're doing something at a high level in senior year of high school or something like that, or somebody goes to the Olympics. That must be such a trip. Like this, I changed this kid's diapers and they just closed out a championship game somewhere, or that must be such a trip. So, big trip. Lighting up a box press is John Mick. Okay. I haven't had a box press in a while. I haven't, but my father-in-law just came back from the Dominican Republic and he got me a couple of hand-rolled torpedoes. That's actually what I had on Easter. Very nice. Jealous of your weather. It's been raining for a month straight. Well, I mean, like I said before, apparently it's going to change. Let's see here. Chew tobacco? No, never. Never smoked cigarettes. I never chewed tobacco. I have friends that dip, and but it's just the occasional cigar and maybe a couple of hookahs a year too. So, why, Happy, do you chew tobacco? To be honest, I can't stand the correlation between baseball and spitting. Never understood it. I never understood it. Just spitting, we're talking about tobacco, talking about baseball. chewing tobacco and baseball go together, and I never understood it. It pisses me off. You know, the leisurely game, eating sunflower seeds, I get that, but just instinct, I never understood it. Reds coach was spitting seeds like crazy last night. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Lightning the Titan. You changed, dude. How did I change, Lightning? I'd like to hear this. People change all the time. In subtle ways, too. You know, years do that to you. I'd like to talk about that a little bit. I don't get why chewing was okay, but yeah, you couldn't light up a cig. Couldn't light up a cig in left field. There was a time you probably could, and there are probably people who probably play, you know, beer league softball and are smoking cigarettes in left field. Nicotine curbs appetite and gives a bit of an energy, I believe. Well, nicotine is something different, and I understand nicotine and tobacco. It's one and the same when you talk about tobacco products, but what kind of tobacco products? What kind of nicotine products? That slips into a lot of different controversial health topics these days. I wanted to talk about that in particular. I think we might bring it up with Molly from Keto Brainz when she comes on for a segment with me and Jay Gulanello this upcoming Friday, because for a time they were she told me they were developing a nicotine product. I said, really? Because, you know, I see all these you know, based red pill doctors that are always talking about nicotine, especially when it comes to prophylactic prevention of one infection or another, or whatever the hell it is. And I want to know more. Let's see. Cigar to a guy is like a good cry for a woman. Is that what it's like? I just picked up a watermelon with my anus. Thank you, Dr. Field. Picked up a watermelon with his anus. Wow. All this gorilla talk reminds me of Matt fighting a bunch of 8-year-olds. Yeah, I would have been a lot more inclined to do the gorilla talk if Matt was around. But who am I going to bounce that off of? That was a perfect topic for another time. Where the hell is Matt? He's living his life, buddy. Living his life and not really telling anybody what's going on. So we kind of just accepted it. Hadn't seen him all throughout the holidays, nothing. So always wishing him well. Obviously, we love him, but see people like, oh, I'm so concerned. Don't. He's not concerned about you. I'm doing all right, Justin. How you feeling? Kurt, hello. John Otter, nicotine is the key factor in development and progression of Buerger's disease. The key factor in the development and progression of Buerger's disease? I don't even know what that is. I must admit. I have to admit. Blue Waffle, I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, Blue Waffle? Always nice when Blue Waffle shows up in the chat room. It gives people something to Google search. I heard nicotine wipes out the graphene. Yeah, things like that. I've heard things like that a lot lately over the last couple of years. What's that the doctor's name? Artis? Is it the Dr. Artis guy? Is that who I'm thinking about talking about nicotine? He did that a lot. Always talking about how he has a nicotine patch on, even though he's not a smoker. I think he's the one. He's the one who's talking about snake venom a lot too, right? Rob's doing well. I was actually just sitting down with Rob for a cup of coffee last Monday. So we were just catching up and all that stuff. Rob's always doing well. He's just tending to a work schedule, you know. If I text him, he'll text me back. Unlike other people. The snake venom thing was weird. Let's see here. Bring back the old-fashioned cigar smoking like it's a noir film. More gentlemen clubs. less fast food joints. You know what? I'm with it. There is one or two cigar bars around here late night, and I'd love to have one. See, one of my biggest, one of my 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 biggest like fantasies, business fantasies, was with me, Anthony, and Mike. That's what Zadal's in New York was all about. So Zadal's in New York. We were the Zadal's radio show. I'll talk about Zadal for those of you who don't know what the hell that is some of the time. But you saw me and Mike and Anthony in February. We did Zadal's in New York retirement years. So every couple of months we'll do another episode of that just to have some fun. But the reason why we settled on Zadal's in New York as a stream, it's because we wanted to have a series of like clubs, lounges, and we wanted to have, we said that'd be awesome if we had like Zadal's London, Zadal's Rome, Zadal's Tokyo, almost like it was Hard Rock, but we wanted to have it to be maybe like a lounge nightclub, but all of them had broadcast studios in there. They all had radio studios in there, and of course the hookah. So I'd love to be able to have a hookah bar / cigar lounge one day somewhere. Maybe I have Rich Barris do a little bit of demographics testing for me. What's the best region in the country that if I opened up one of those things, it would be well attended? What's going on, Moon Bunny? Good to see you. Gabriel, hello. Whoa, whoops. I initially found this channel on this kind of live streams as Benjamin. Well, I'm happy to hear it. Yeah, well, I want to do a lot more of these. Of course, this gave me a reason to do it because we did that super chat goal, and I got to think of some more fun stuff to do goals like that, and it also holds me to doing this stuff too because this is some of the more relaxing kind of streams that you can do. No format required. Just talk to people. Use Chat GPT to write up a business plan. Well, maybe the business plan. I can write up the executive summary. I have no problem. These Blue Jays are nasty. Blue Jays are nasty. They look pretty, but they sound like hell. Hold on. Where are you? Where are you? Speak! It's gotta be. I know birds aren't real, Shane. I know that they're all spies for the government. But real or automaton, this thing's gotta move. Being a bitch. We'll just fly away. Hey. I love Blue Jays. They're spunky. Cardinals are our most favorite. Oh, we got Blue Jays and Cardinals. I love Cardinals. We've been naming Cardinals over here as they've been, just building families in our neighborhood for years. Since we were kids. Naming Cardinals. Oh, that's Crystal. Oh, that's Red Flame. Oh, that's so-and-so. And Blue Jays are nice. Got some Hawks and stuff, too. Hello from Des Moines. What's going on, Ray? What's going on, Ricky Lynn? 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. Star Wars isn't dead. It's been bastardized by the corporate bureaucracy. Disney tried to strike back, but in the end, the fans have spoken. No more pointless slop. Well, it's over. It's over. The fans are showing when it peaked and when we all. I mean, listen, the prequels, they had a lot of naysayers. I loved them. I was lucky enough to go to all of the special edition re-releases of the original trilogy in the 90s, and then episode 1 in 99. I was in 8th grade, going into 9th, and then by 2005, when Revenge of the Sith came out, these are any kind of a Star Wars films, or the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. Those were all excuses for us to cut school in high school, and it was a lot of fun. I love Revenge of the Sith. It's a fantastic film, and I saw it being re-released in a couple of theaters around here. I really want to go see it. Will I be able to? Probably not, but I love it, and I'm glad that Hayden Christensen has finally gotten the respect that he deserves. Phantom Menace is my favorite of the prequels. Yeah, okay, see, there's the thing. What's up? Okay. No, they must have gone inside. Beautiful. It's my wife. Yeah, anyway, Star Wars. It's dead now. The prequels is where it died, and also good portions of the Clone Wars. I think the Clone Wars was good, and the only good thing that Disney did, aside from getting the 7th season of the Clone Wars in there, is Rogue One. I think Rogue One was fantastic, even though they had a couple of damn girl moments, where the 119-pound soaking wet girl kicks the shit out of multiple stormtroopers, which, I mean, historically they're inept, so I can see it happening. But what are you gonna do? Hello, everybody. Cooking up 10 pounds of taco meat for a Cinco de Derby party. Oh, it's a derby today. Anthony Vincent has become my secret obsession. Shh, says Crystal Pistol. Anthony sent me. I wish I could send you some stuff. I wish I could play it, but it's on my phone. Whenever Anthony has outtakes in his studio, and he's recording something for, whatever, his outtakes are hilarious. And I said, please start setting them aside in a separate folder, so that whenever we do our live streams together, when we do another episode of The Brothers, we can start playing them. Or Zadal's in New York. He said, okay, no doubt. So that'll be good. I couldn't watch anything past Jedi, but in the 90s, was having kids and partying. Listen, I'm telling you, the most plot holes there are in Phantom Menace. I understand that. It's still just, I love it. The way that they use the Force came to life a lot more. The dynamics of the lightsaber choreography. It's it. Obi-Wan and Maul at the end. The dynamics of lightsaber combat. That's what really started the whole thing off. I love Attack of the Clones. It's like a space detective novel, trying to figure out who is raising secret armies, and could they be the ones who's fomenting this phony war that controls both sides of this galactic war to destroy a republic and to bring in an imperial, empire. It's a storyline that everybody would really identify very easily right now, from banking syndicates to everything else coming together and destroying a more liberty-based system of representative government for something far darker that actually has deeper spiritual dark force connotations, like Black Hand kind of thing going on behind the scenes. So it's fun. But it's just, it's a space fantasy. So if you like, that's the kind of thing, then I think it's easy for you to digest. But it's good, man. Sons and fathers, fathers and sons, sons saving fathers, and fathers saving sons. I like it. All right. Let's see here. Every Derby horse in the race today is related to Secretariat. Are you serious? Well, you know what? When you're the big dog, everybody, you want to talk about real sperm racing? This is sperm racing right here. Not that fake stuff at USC. All right, what else we got? Oh, shit, sorry. Well, I'm just going to read what you guys got it. Jay Dyer killed it on Piers. Jay was on Piers Morgan. What did he talk about? It was about the Pope. Well, we're going to be doing some Pope stuff on Tuesday. I got Leo Zagami will be coming back on. We'll talk about that. A few other things. Because regardless of whether or not you're a Catholic, which I am, the papacy has become a highly contested position, seat of power inside of the New World Order. So it's something worth paying attention to. Let's see. Oh, the Pope picture of Trump. Yeah, I saw that. That was a real Truth Social post of him as Pope. The troll game is on fire. You know what we got to talk about? You know what we have to talk about on Monday? The executive order that a lot of people have taken exception with about militarizing the police, or at least making military overstock more available to police. Now, this has been happening for a long time. Everybody went overboard when Obama was doing it in like 2012, 13, I forget when the hell it was. But the real question is there something deeper that we're getting prepared for? Because especially when it comes to cleaning up what's going on in the country right now, you have several nations worth of standing armies that are just here now, especially over the last couple of years alone. And is this for some kind of a Tet offensive preparation? Why the increased militarization of the police when all you really just need is a change in rules of engagement with the police? You know, that's so we're going to be talking about that on Monday. I think there's some really big things that are shifting right now. I can see why people are concerned about it. It's just because they have the military, just because they have the military equipment. It's really how they use it. Yeah, how it's deployed. We've seen how it's deployed in the past. You know, with the Boston bomber, the Boston Marathon bombing, and all that stuff. But this is going to be one of those nights where your calls are going to be paramount, because I can see where people are just like, no, this is no good. No matter who's doing it, it's no good. Or we got to wait and see what the operation is really about. Is this a be-all, end-all? I don't know. Last-ditch effort to gain control of a country lost. You know, the other thing there too is considering the Constitution and all this stuff. Very hard for me as somebody who loves the Constitution to continue
to just say, well, the Constitution says. The Constitution has no there's nothing that that we live under right now has been prescribed by the Constitution. It's just gone. It's good to know where we came from and why we had it, but we're not a people that's fit. We're just not a culture that's fit to abide by it anymore, or even really relates to why it was ratified in that way. So I just wonder where all of you people out there who, in a perfect world, or at least in a bygone era of the United States, would be, oh man, that you yearn for that kind of civic function being still relevant in today's society. Me, I can do pretty well in a narco-capitalist society where we are, like, even beyond the decentralization of the Constitution as originally ratified. I would love to know what you guys think about that. There's a lot of people out there who love the country and consider themselves patriots, but also just can call a spade and just saying, nobody's following the rules, so what do we do? What do you do in that respect? To buy time or save lives or whatever? My hand's not over the mic. The mic is underneath. Low audio. All right, well. Then let me see if this does any good. A couple more seconds. What about now? Did the audio regulate? Hello, Suey from Australia. It looks like you live in a really lovely area. It's a nice neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood, There are lovely. So much of this country is beautiful, and it's what you make it too, and your neighbors are what you make it, and of course, politics ruins a lot of it. It makes it almost impossible to get ahead financially too. But anyway, let's see here, Mikey. Thank you. Absolute monarchy or absolute democracy? One or the other? That's a great question. Some would say there's very little differentiating it, because absolute democracy is like a half step away from monarchy. Really what it is anyway. So I guess you would say democracy only because you have a little bit of time left. But then you think about monarchy as well, and I know that there's a lot of like Christian monarchists out there, and I'd like to hear from people who are from the monarchist point of view. I'd like to hear from them. I really would. I'm not necessarily there. I'm not there at all, only because you have to, I know that not every king was a tyrant, but what happens when you just long lines of tyrant kings, or just luck of the draw, lifetime appointments, hierarchies, bloodlines? You're dealing with all that stuff. I love to hear from people. I love to hear about people's, pro-monarchy thoughts. Oh, it's out again. I'm not smoking it enough. Whatever. When you get a good monarch, yes, I know. How do you do that? God gives you one. Certainly can't vote for one. So I'd rather go anarcho-capitalism than monarchy. And democracy is pure democracy is a precursor to monarchy, and it's usually not going to be a good person. Probably not going to be a good person, because there's a lot of manipulation there. What you have to do to get 51%
to subjugate 49. The Pope is a king. Pope is more like a prime minister. Christ is the king. But the Pope is more like a prime minister. And let me tell you something. As a Catholic, I really still don't really know where I am on the papacy. You know, when you have a good one, great. And there's a lot of based popes. The more you study and you go back, especially 19th century popes and all that stuff, there's a lot of based popes. And but I don't know. I'm not a theologian type. I don't go too deep into it. But I listen a lot, and then I just kind of contemplate. So I don't know. Like, for example, when I go to church, anytime over the last couple of years, and you know, there's intentions for people in the parish that have died, or you know, to pray for the Pope Francis. I think about that, and it challenges me to like, yes, I'm gonna keep him in my intentions. What? Maybe to right his own ship. But it's like whenever that time of mess pops up, I'm like, I don't want to pray for the Pope. I don't want to pray for this Pope. Well, I guess that's just a personal thing. When will they name the new one? Well, the conclave starts this week. Conclave starts on, I think, the 7th. I think on Wednesday. So on Tuesday the 6th, yeah, praying for his conversion. I think that's where I kind of went. I kind of went with it. You know, so I didn't feel like he was on a good path. But praying for his conversion, that's a good way of saying it. But on Tuesday night when Leo Zagami comes on, we'll be able to do some deep state, deep church kind of stuff, and it'll be a lot of fun. And then the conclave starts on Wednesday. And listen, regardless, it could be a spooky little big time geopolitical event. There is a secret conclave of cardinals that get together. There's so many political and spiritual considerations being made there. You know, who's going to carry on Francis's vision? You know, not all of the cardinals that he appointed are super liberal. You just never know. You just never know. And then there's a new player on the global chessboard. Leo doesn't sound Italian enough. I know. I'm trying. I'm so much. Still doing about 20 minutes of Italian every night. I'm starting that back up. I had about 2 months where I stopped studying my Italian at night. I got to start it back up. I'm doing that again, starting 20 minutes a night on Monday. I redid my whole personal schedule, so that hopefully one day me and Leo can do an entire interview in Italian and really put you guys on the outside looking in. We're all on the outside looking in right now, trying to just, okay, listen close. Listen close. I'm listening. I'm straining. Just hold on to everything you got. Cut through that thick Italian accent. So one day we're going to leave you all on the outside. Are you teaching your daughter too? Now that I'm restarting it, I'm going to go. I'm going to ask Aurora to do it with me. She'll pick it up quick now. I'd like her to know Spanish as well. It's just, I'd like her to know Spanish as well. I only have attention span for one, and my personal desire is to speak Italian. But if I can have any wish for Aurora in a linguistic sense, it's for her to speak Italian and Spanish. She's going to need it living in this country. Let's see here. Let's see here. I see you got the New York City hat on. I just want to say go Celtics. Okay. I'm not a big basketball fan. The peak of my loving basketball was the 90s. And of course I just was drawn to, well, a lot of people. even like the Seattle Supersonics. I liked Sean Kemp. I liked Mookie. I just like watching people every morning on Sports Center before we went to school, just watching all of the big players. You know, over here in New York, Ewing, John Stark, you know, people like that, and then but the Jordan and Pippen. I loved the Bulls so much just because Jordan was there's something just so nasty about his will. I love that. So when it came down to Bulls and Knicks, I was still rooting for the Bulls, but I don't watch basketball anymore. And the other night I saw the game, the Pistons and Reggie Miller. And I'm now thinking Reggie Miller and all the others too. But the Pistons and Knicks game was on Game 6. And it was the last 10 minutes. I came home from the studio, and it was the last 10 minutes. I said, you know what? Let me just watch this. Because I listened to enough New York sports radio driving from the studio to home and back that I know when there's a big game and a big series and all that stuff. And so I knew it was an elimination game, and the Knicks could move on to play the Celtics. But that guy, Jalen Brunson, holy shit. You want to talk about a guy who carried an entire team on his back and willed them to victory. That was pretty insane. And I said, oh, wow, this guy's good. Now, going into Boston, I don't see how the Knicks beat Boston. Only because I know how good Boston has been lately. And I'm a really big fan of your head coach. I'm a really big fan of Boston's head coach. What's his name? Joe, what's his name? Another Catholic. He's just so good in press conferences. I like guys like that. I learned about his work ethic and his background. I really like him. So whenever I come across good people in sports, I just become fans of them. That's that. How many New York hats do you own? I get a new one every year. So this one I will wear until it just falls apart at the seams and starts stinking. And I'll, every once in a while I'll throw it into the wash. It'll start getting soft and floppy, and that's what I really love. And then around Christmas time, my mother gets me a new hat. So I don't buy any hats because I know at Christmas my mother's going to get me a new one. And every once in a while, and then she'll get me the old school World Series patch hats. I love the '96 hats because '96 was very special. But 2004 ALCS, you mean? League champion, ALCS. ALS is something else. 2004 I was there for Game 6 in 2004 ALCS. I saw the Bloody Sock game in person. I took a girl out on a date that night. It's a year before I met Lauren. Yeah, 2004 ALS. No, thank you. So we didn't see a win for the date, and ultimately it didn't work out. So whatever. My dad indoctrinated me as a Sox fan at birth. It happens. It happens. Is that a Philly Blunt? No, it's an acid blondie. It went out. It's a blondie. It's supposed to be like a 20-minute cigar, but I've been barely smoking it because I'm talking to you fine, ladies and gentlemen. Braves fan. Speaking of Braves fan, I've been trying to get John Rocker on this show for a long time. He followed me back on Twitter, but that doesn't mean anything because he follows a lot of people back on Twitter. I'd love to get an interview in with John Rocker. I already had Kurt Schilling on the show. I'd love to get John Rocker. That's another guy that we loved, hate back in the 90s. But now he's just like, he was right about everything. He was right about everything. And I respect him now. Back then, like, how dare he talk so badly about New York? And now I have all the same opinions about New York. So, whatever. Let's see. John Rocker the Beast. Derek Jeter, best shortstop to ever do it. For not being the most talented shortstop, yes. That's another guy where, Jordan was supremely talented, but he also had this indomitable will. Indomitable will. And Jeter had indomitable will, good skill, and then through his will alone, he was able to make so much more of the skill he had, and that was good. Let's see here. Do you have a pinstripe hat? I did in 1995. I did. I had a white hat with the navy blue pinstripes in like 5th grade. I liked it. And they were all fitted, of course. I love fitted hats. I just love fitted hats. I had so many hats. I had a fitted hat for a long time I had a fitted hat for every team in the league, except the Boston Red Sox. I said, I don't need these. And then one day I said, I need a Red Sox hat, but I'm not going to wear it. I have to complete all the divisions. I would hang them up in their divisions as a kid. I would organize them by division. I would even organize them by the standings. I would never wear the Red Sox hat, and I also would never wear the Mets hat. And I gave them all away. So, I miss the 90s Astros logo, even the red hats. Yeah, I miss them. I just miss the days of the Astros sucking because they did not handle success very well. I hate them. But, what I really liked are we're talking about hats. I had to go out and buy myself a Chief Wahoo. I had to get myself an Indians hat before they got rid of Chief Wahoo. I got, when it came to the old school Brewers hats, I know they went back to some of the old school hats right now, but the ones I really love was like the Brewers hats from 1993, 1994. Kind of like gold encrusted MB, all that stuff. I like those for a little bit when they're still an American League team. Randy Johnson, the big unit. Well, Drucifer, I do not hate the Reds. I actually like the Reds. I don't hate both of your teams. The Astros I can do without. They're cheaters. Let's listen. They're cheaters. 2017 were the Yankees' year. As much as I don't like the Dodgers, they took one from the Dodgers. You can say, okay, well, so and so was using HGH to get back on the horse. His knees were bad or whatever like that. HGH here, whatever. The steroid. We can talk a lot about the steroid years, but wearing devices, banging on trash cans, stealing signs. Come on now. And they never. That's the other thing. The Astros never had to take their walk of shame. I was talking about this in 2019 when we were preparing for 2020 on the show. I was like, what's going to be great about 2020? We got this incredible year that it's going to be like the Roaring 20s are coming back. 100 years prior in 1920, it was the first time that a presidential election was ever covered where the election results was being broadcasted by radio out of Pittsburgh. I said now 100 years later, we're going to be able to do our own streams in the 2020 election and cover that. And think about where media has gone in 100 years. Think about the cultural implications of going into 2020, the Roaring 20s. I said it's also interesting that you had the 1919 Black Sox scandal where they fixed and rigged the World Series, and that kind of casted a pall on the sport, and it set up the emergence of big cultural Renaissance characters like people like Babe Ruth coming back, the end of the dead ball era. Like, it was an amazing time for America. And World War I is behind us, and we're kind of licking our wounds from that, but at least it was over. And I said, now here we have this. We have the cheating Astros. It's going to be great for them to go out and get, take their walk of shame all throughout 2020. None of that. They didn't even have to take their walk of shame. Half of the year was canceled, and then the 62 games that they did play, they played in front of cardboard cutouts in the stands. They didn't even get to take their walk of shame. My gosh. Anyway, but that's what you got there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Babe Ruth played in my hometown for Bethlehem Steel team. I actually have Babe Ruth. That's who is in the default picture for today's stream. Having a cigar sparked, but that's cool. What's going on, Brooklyn? What's going on, everybody? And I think that's it for today. Did a little bit more cleaning, organizing. I got a workout in. I brought Aurora up to the park. She's been getting really good at her scooter now. Guys, get a little. And here's what I'll say: tomorrow and every Sunday is a behind-the-scenes private stream. Our Sunday streams every Sunday, but there's more than that. Become a sponsor. That'd be wonderful to have you on. You can go to any of the links below in the description or on quitefrankly.tv to the Sponsor Us tab. Whether it's through quitefrankly.tv or a Patreon or Subscribestar, you get the private stream links every Sunday. We get together, just a couple dozen people, and you can always just watch it if you can't watch live. Now we're going to start doing workouts together on Sunday. We have morning coffee, cigars, whatever it is. We just hang out. Behind the scenes, Aurora always makes an appearance somehow. She squiggles her way in there somehow. But I would love to see some of you guys tomorrow, especially some of you OG people, but some of you new people. Join up. It's a little less $5 a month, and it keeps us independent and uncensored and, well, self-preserve in whatever way we can, but independent and free from having to be shackled down to, one platform or another. Keeps us on our feet. So much coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm working really hard on spiffing up the stream, the nightly show, bringing it to new places, and I hope you enjoy. I really do. Can you use locals too? I have locals set up with the Rumble. I don't know how to make it like Patreon and Subscribestar though. I'd love to. I talked to my friend at Rumble. I said, how do I make it? Can I do tiers? So I'll figure it out. But Patreon, Subscribestar, directly through quitefrankly.tv. I'll be sending out those links tomorrow. I hope to see you guys there. And all the best to you. Thank you guys so much for everything. Subscribestar is fantastic. They all are. But I'm appreciative. And you all be safe. Bless you all. May the Lord Jesus Christ be with you and your family always. Yes. All throughout the day, little prayers. Lord, have mercy on me. Guide me. Guide me, guide me. Especially before a show. Guide my tongue. Make it make sense. Forget about just getting in trouble. Make me make sense. But cheers to you all. Thank you so much. This stream was brought to you by you guys. I'll do more of those super chat goals in the room, and we'll have some more celebratory streams like this in the future. But take care, my friends. See you soon.